hi, this is Does It Really Matter? And we have Silva back on again, which I'm really, really happy about. And we were just chatting before I started recording and we were talking. It's like, should we talk about this? Let's start with this. Ask this question. And Tammy has already forgot what it was. What it was we were gonna lead with.
I could see you trying to think about it.
Yeah, literally. Either blank, like you just said, what has
You
been the
you
best
can
part of
you
your
can
week?
also ask me. I
Blank.
was there. I was part of it. You can
Yeah.
you can ask me.
So
Yes, I can answer.
what was it we were going to talk about?
We're gonna talk about how right now in the world things are changing so fast with AI, and it's taken over a lot of the things which we were told when we were younger. This is what makes us who we are, and it's thinking and it's knowledge. We're building a tool which is gonna outthink us. And that's like the basis of how a lot of the things that we do as humanity that we drive forward. So then there's a time now to rethink what does it mean to actually be human if not like if our thinking power can be outsourced. So we're going to explore what it means to be human from our feelings,
Mm, yeah. So
what it means to feel. Mhm.
just as you
But then what I'm going to do around the world around that as well, called Further Together. But that's what we're going to talk
right, okay, yeah. Sorry, Tammy's just smiling and there's other parts of me coming in. So as you were talking, I was like thinking and knowing and then and feeling. So knowing and feeling, I don't know, I suppose maybe for some really closely related. So I wrote down, I was like, have you ever just known something? You don't know what it is, but you know it. And then you get a feeling with it. So would you say that this is the way humans are being led or back to their self, not led or like redirected back to self? What they've not known for quite a while in time.
Yes, to answer your question directly, but then to elaborate, what does that look like? What does that mean? So, if you think about it, just from a biological level, somebody is giving birth to somebody, and you can see the traits of that person physically from their parents, their grandparents. You can see those traits. But how the person is, people can be totally confused about how did I give birth to this person? They mirror nothing of me, of anything. Like we don't even act like this in the family. Sometimes you have black sheep, sometimes you have whatever. Like there's so many nuances in every family, and even people who've, mothers and fathers, you're like, how's this son? How's this daughter? And sometimes I can see how confused they are. Like, how can my kids be so different? And for me, that starts to show you that when we are in this world that we are now is all around our bodies are taken from our people, but our spirits come in not from the earth, but from above or from beyond or from God, however you want to kind of see it, or from source, you're part of that. Now, that means at a biological level, we must be vibrations. We must be, if it's spiritual, it must be like vibrations, the same way you can feel the sun's rays, where you can't touch it. It must be kind of invisible kind of vibrations which bring life. The same way the sun brings life, which
Mm,
is it's not so much an invisible vibration because you can feel it, but you still can't really touch it, but you know it brings life. That's the way our souls bring life and animate our bodies. The same way the sun can generate light, which generates the plants that you see around.
mm-hmm.
That's the same way our souls can generate our bodies, and our bodies are
Mm,
one of the most powerful tools ever created in terms of
yeah.
the complexity. But that's why you need a whole soul to power it and animate it, in terms of the focus which it needs. But then there's not only a whole soul, again, even that language isn't the right language, but
Yeah.
there's certain things I would have to put in there. But I'm not gonna. This will be such a side quest conversation. Let me pause and come back to this quest. Because I made a mistake, I wanted to correct the mistake, and then all of a sudden I would have taken a whole nother path. Look at this. Um, so if we're looking at it from like this biological lens I've been talking about, then if you think about feelings, what is that? And where's it felt? It's felt in your body, as a way of which what might be talking to you. Could it be the vibrations inside of you? Oh,
Mm,
what's the vibrations inside of you? Oh, could that be your spirit? Um, so again, different people might see it differently, but that's a particular perspective which I'm curious about. I've been holding. So
mm,
if the vibrations for my spirit, if the only way that my spirit can talk to me are through a few different ways, imagine it's through the vibrations, which are my emotions, what I
mm,
feel.
mm,
It can also speak to me. If it's my spirit, then it's part of everything. It can also speak to me through everything else around me, or speak to me through numbers that I might see, or things which might happen time and time again, or people I might meet time and time again.
yeah.
If you start to see it from that lens, then you start to see that feeling into it is also a powerful intelligence as well as thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But the way we've been trained and I've been brought up is like somebody will come up to you and say, "Ah, Tammy, blah 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 blah," and you'd be like, "Oh, you know what? Let me think about it."
Mm,
I have never heard anyone say, "You know what? Let me feel into it."
mm.
What? What does that even mean? Feel into what?
What are you
Like,
talking about?
like what? Feel it.
You
So
got
it's
two
like
legs.
they probably think you're a crazy person. They want to lock you up. Feel into what?
Yeah.
Like I was having this random thought today. I was like, you know what? If I feel ecstatic within me and I go outside, and even might be even a cloudy day, I just feel great within me, and I just start wanting to like just sing because I've got a song in my ear, want a little skip.
Mm.
See someone just give them a high five. They might think I'm crazy. They might think I'm on drugs. Like I don't think you're allowed to be that ecstatic without people thinking you're crazy or you're on drugs.
Yeah. I mean, me, Ben, and Chase, I said in the other podcast, we were dancing down the aisle in when we were shopping. We were just dancing down the aisle. And me and Ben were really going for it. Chase was giving a little dance, but then when we got to the end and there was people there, she was like that. But I was spinning about and that because why not? But I'm not gonna lie, it took me a minute to start getting used to being able just to dance in a shop.
Why did it take you a minute? What was holding you?
Oh, the programming's
What do you mean?
heavily.
Break it down.
So it's like someone's just done like the old someone's just why would you dance in a shop and not on a dance floor? What have you got to be so happy about? So I suppose you could look at it as one way. I know I was carrying, let's say, people would call it a more negative, but kind of a more heavier. I was experiencing that more and it kept me very unwell for a lot of my life. You know, when you just have enough of it. I was having a conversation. It's like someone said, "Oh, why are you mainly positive all the time?" And a part of me was like, well, "I've spent a lot of time in negativity, and I didn't really. It taught me a lot. Thankful for it, but it didn't really. I'm done with that now. So I suppose the programming of why are people just dancing in the shops? Have we ever seen people dancing in the shops? Flash mobs, but that's already been pre like oh we're going to do this at this time, but actually just naturally feeling a song and dancing. We've never been taught naturally to dance if we feel like it,
Why do
no
why
matter
do you think
where
we
you
haven't been
are.
taught? Why do you think we haven't been taught to dance, or why do
Oh,
you think we've been
do
taught
you know,
not to
I'm
dance?
going to take that back. A lot of us haven't. Some of us may have. I don't know everyone in the world, so
That's true.
some of us may have. It's like some some cultures they celebrate a transition. A lot of the Western world's like it's death, but they'll go, "Oh, you're going on to the next phase of your life." So I can't speak for everyone. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe to. I mean, we could go down a lot of rabbit holes here, Silver. I mean, what do you want to do? Do you want to say the ones what control this world want to keep us more in a negative energy, so we don't realize what we are
Take
to.
take me down three spirals of truth of the truth from a layer of your experience, of the truth of the layer of the wider system, and then the truth of the layer from more a soul level.
Okay, so I can only tell you from me in all three of them, because the way I see a system is going to be completely different to the way someone else sees a system. So even though I can say, well, the system has done this, 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 and this from some of my research, yeah, it's still only being seen through my lens, yes. So over the past 5 years, I have done deep dives into so much. Like literally, my brain's like, this. What do you want to talk about? I'll give you something I can talk about from personal experience. So, my eldest daughter was in a wheelchair, poorly, in and out of hospital, not really knowing what was wrong with her. We found out what was wrong with her in the end, and she's healed herself. She's still got some bits where it affects her body, but healed herself, as I have. And then I was looking at vaccinations, and I started crying, and my mum's like in the kitchen. I'm like, what are you crying about? And I'm like, I didn't know what was in them. And I went through blame, and then I went through this shouting about, do you know what's in them? And then there was these groups of parents where their children have been really affected by them. So I went in a spiral like that for me. Now, I would be, no, shouldn't get that. Now, me, I'm like, no, this is your journey, this is your life. If you see that, like, yeah, crack on. I'm not here to kind of tell you that. So from the spiritual side, and again, Tammy with the word spiritual, her body goes a bit like, oh, that's been taken through people's lenses and molded to this and molded to that. So humans like, drop me out of that word. No, let me feel
Mm,
into it. So from the spiritual side, if you've chose to come and okay, I'm gonna be born, and I know I'm gonna probably have this, so you kind of set your life contracts, and this, and then this this thing's not gonna react so well with my human body, so I may get this, but it's a part of my life's journey to then overcome that. So my daughter overcomes so much, and from not being able to walk, not being able to move, like at one time she could only move left arm. She couldn't move any other part of her body. And then for myself, healing from endometriosis, fibromyalgia. So it's a multi approach to healing. So yeah, you can get lost in the programming, because when I went to doctors, when my daughter went to doctors, a programming of what they've learned couldn't fix it all. But I'm not saying now what they've learned is wrong or right. It helps people where it helps. And I think, like, again, doctors, like, you break your arm, you've been in an accident, they're, come on, the work that they do is amazing. And then, but just the doctors we see couldn't help or assist in that. And it was by some of it returning spiritually. So I hope I've answered that in that. So you get the programming of the medical professions, the that, to noticing yourself, and then to go back to spirit and that. But okay, going back to dancing, we was never, a lot of us were never taught to heal ourselves. A lot of us were never taught, if our body feels like moving, just move it. No, sit down, be quiet. Oh, you go to school, sit there. No, you can't move about. You're disruptive. Your child's disruptive. What are you going to do? So we've never been taught, when our body wants to just move, to just move. So in that moment, I wanted to dance. Ben wanted to dance, Chase wanted to dance, and we all danced. So I hope that's kind of give an answer. I know I went off, but yeah.
Beautifully outlined and in true Tammy style, the tangents and the turns. You can't just, it has to be a beautiful adventure. So that's what we like. And when you were speaking, I wanted to also bring it back to further together. What I'd mentioned earlier when we started talking about kind of feelings and how you tune into that from a spirit level. And or whichever level that when we talk about spirit, what that means. But it's like if we as human beings can start to really understand our emotions better and channel into that, things can get really interesting. And right now, I'm on an adventure myself to basically devote myself, devotion to living and trusting God, like all of my belief within faith that my feelings are what will guide core elements of how I need to move. And not saying to not utilize my thinking, but to integrate both. And but to make sure I grow my feelings. And that's why I need to devote into that because I'm in a world which is ruled by thinking. And I want to do it in a way which is fun, adventurous, ecstatic. And that's why I
Mm-hmm.
want to be led by the feeling of like ecstasy within me. The
Mm-hmm.
feeling of it's a beautiful day. Let me just go outside and see and move and shake and explore. And in doing that, I want to follow the things that light up my heart. I want to follow the things that make me ecstatic. And if I look across my life, the different things which I've done, I'm constantly, in some ways, when it comes to people, playing some sort of role of champion, or of championing them, of empowering them, bring out the best in them. Um, Completely just being really direct to them, but in a beautiful way, so they can
Yeah.
see themselves in a way, whichever way which is needed.
Mm-hmm.
And same with me, I love it when I meet people who can do that for me, and I realize throughout my life, not only do I do that, but I get so much energy and that sense of aliveness from it. And if I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying again, I'm listening to my feelings, that's something which my soul is saying, do that more. And then what I'm starting to learn is I've got so many different ways that my soul speaks like that. But it's like some of it I'm like, yeah, I can't really do that more because, it doesn't really make sense because I need to go and do my career in this way or I need to have these responsibilities. Now what I want to do instead is to nearly pick up on all of those different strands of desire. And not as desire from the realm of, oh, I want to become a millionaire. So now I'm going to hold on to the desire of making loads of money. No, even if it's to have wealth, I'll hold on to, I'll look at it from the lens of, okay, what would that get me? What would that mean for my relationships? What would that mean for my health and how I want to be as a person? Ah, that would be a beautiful place to be. And I would hold that feeling, but I wouldn't cling on to it. But then
Mm-hmm.
that feeling becomes my compass and becomes my energy.
Mm-hmm.
What I hold on to is growth. Because as soon as I let that feeling direct me and I start moving, I start growing. Because
Mm-hmm.
that means I'm going to apply for that job, take the break I need, start the business, just go and travel. And for me right now, I've discovered what I want to do. And for me, it's to have a
I love it.
well, the beautiful thing about what I want to do is it it can also is also open to change because like I said just now, it's not about clinging onto the desire. It's about letting it fuel you. And once you know it, let it fuel you and allow you to move forward. But the growth is what's important. So for this one, I'm going to talk about what it is, but also the growth behind it for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to have a conversation with the world, a conversation which I feel is really needed about what does it mean to be human right now? given technology advances in AI, given wars across the world, given how divided we are, given just where the world is from a sustainability standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many things right now clashing and moving and shaping. And then the undercurrent of our knowledge, our thinking power being outsourced or being taken over by AI creates an exponential change in how we're going to live and operate. And that doesn't need to be negative. It can
No.
be, from my lens, so immensely beautiful that we're like, what? Are we allowed to live like this? And the beautiful thing is, like I said, you can dream about something like this, let it fuel you, but it doesn't, you don't need to attach to the outcome. So even as I think about this, to think, imagine a future which could be like that. I'm letting it be my fuel. And the reason I want to articulate that again is I want to show you the bigger the dream, the bigger the fuel. But don't
Yes.
cling on to the dream. So my view right now is so outrageous, so diabolical. I have to do the evil laugh. But you take what people call it the evil laugh and you make it into the great laugh, the most benevolent laugh, and the laugh of legends to come. Um, So anyway, back to the story at hand. So we're having a global conversation about what it means to be human, but not just with anyone and not just everywhere. Everyone is welcome to come, but the people who right now I want to give a voice to, I want to interact with, I want to listen to. I also want to share what I've learned and what I've gone through and see where they're at. Are the young people who are currently thinking about what am I going to do with life? I've gone through schooling. Maybe I've done well, maybe I haven't. But I need to look after myself. I need to look after my family. I need to attract people, my friends, my loved ones, partner. I want to be safe. I want to be looked after. I want to look after. But what am I going to do? Where are the jobs? Can I even create a job? There's so much noise. There's social media. There's education system which have told me this for many years. There's mum and dad and family and friends who have told me this for how many years. There's so much noise and things moving on. But with them, they are the future because they're the ones who are going to be driving a lot of the new change. Because what's happening is the world is about to change, and obviously companies and everything else is going to move and shift. But this generation now are going to be at the epicenter of feeling that change all the way through. They will be the ones who said, "I remember when there was just iPhones, and then all of a sudden AI came over. We still remember when there was no such thing, but this is not
Yeah.
us." To have a conversation with them, so I want to select different universities where this is the topic we're going to go through, and
Mm.
we're going to talk about it from different lenses. We're going to look at it from an anxiety lens, in terms of where the world is now, what are things stopping us, which environments drain our energy, which things are just not for us. We're going to look at it from the lens of love as well. Um, Not just love in terms of like a romantic love, but when we're thinking about why why living matters, why looking after the planet matters, why looking after yourself matters, why you deserve love, but from so many different facets of it. Because before we start to think about let's go and solve this, let's go and do this, we need to understand why we want to do it. But before we understand why we want to do it, we need to understand what the problem is. So that's why we start with anxiety, we move into love, and then finally, we just move into a place which this is why I want to challenge myself, and where I want to hold myself into that space. I call it ecstasy, where it's not because you're high, it's not because like you've taken anything, not because you're crazy, you're not going to get arrested. This is that beautiful feeling from within where you just follow your joy, where you follow the thing that light you up. I was talking about feelings earlier. There are many feelings you can follow. Many. I
Mm.
followed anxiety for a long time because anxiety was telling me you're in an environment which keeps draining you. There's so many stories around you which have compounded, and you're always having loads of negative thoughts. Anxiety, the messenger there was telling me, you need to move, you need to listen to your heart. What's your heart's desire? That's where I was at. And over the last week or so, I've just been having more moments of glimpses of the ecstasy of feeling alive and moving in joy, moving in desire, but moving it in a way where it doesn't control you. It doesn't own you. You're not trying to own it, but it fuels you. That's been beautiful. So the last part of it will be around that. It's like what lights them up, given everything they've known, everything that they've seen. And then with that, we're going to be giving them tools. We're going to be bringing them exceptional speakers and people who they can drive dialogue with. And also,
What
we're not only going
dialogue?
to talk. Yeah,
What dialogue?
what dialogue? Well, that's the thing. So we're not only going to
Yeah.
talk. We're not only going to talk. There's gonna be beautiful moments of play. There's gonna be beautiful moments of silence. There's gonna be beautiful moments of music. It's not something which I come and I approach it from a lens of conventional ways that we've always brought people together.
Yeah.
Where if it's a play, then we're gonna kind of sit down. If it's a concert, maybe we might stand up. If it's a conference, we're gonna sit down. People give a talk. There'll be a few people at the top. No, this is gonna be a playful experience, which helps us to unpack what it means to be human by being human, not by fitting into any of our boxes, but by opening all the boxes and unraveling as we go. It's going to be a beautiful, I want to say a beautiful conversation, but like I said, it's more than that.
Yeah.
And I want
So
people to
words
join, I want
vary.
people to grow, and I want people to move. Yeah, exactly. But for me, it's not about just one place experiencing this. Just because I live in London doesn't mean it all has to happen in London, or it has to happen in the UK, or it has to happen in Europe. That's why the country which I start off in will set the precedence, but at the same time, I'm looking to move across the world to have these conversations.
Mm.
Different places are impacted quite differently from how things are currently moving. Different places are complete different positions in terms of what matters to them.
Yes.
So having this kind of conversation and starting to see what matters and who you can bring together is just going to start to seed what I hope
Mm.
to be something which can just all help us to move further together.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to talk more about that. But while you were talking, I was just writing lots down. And I was like, oh, okay, okay, okay. So when I healed myself and my daughter healed herself, and we done it together. So we both lived in, let's say, a lot of programming and negativity. So we had this kind of light shining and go, all right, do you want to step into this part of you knowing that there's more? Yeah. So when you step into that part, for us, we lost our, oh, I don't know what words, angriness. Like, oh my gosh, we're living in this world and they're doing this. So that kind of faded away, so we was able to open more or go within more. Whatever you wanna call it. The knowing that you are so powerful and you have the ability to heal, create, co-create. Just the knowing of that, I think for some it opens you up to newness, to more newness. So what you're gonna bring, like the what you're going to put together, part of it like knowingness, and then opening up to wow, like this play, this again, words fail me. For me, I look at life as very, very beautiful now. My inner child comes out. It's always planned. Like, I'm really expressionate. I'm like you. Oh, Tammy's driving a car today. Oh, a human body's driving this car today. Look at that tree. Oh, look at that. I want to dance. That's how I live my life a lot. Don't get it twisted. I have days where my full human, let's say, not with the program, but like if I'll get pissed off or like stressed. I'm like, then I start crying. But I'm able to steady myself more instead of letting it take me to where it once took me. a lot of illness, like you said, you anxiety, lived your life like with a lot of that. I live like heaviness and then I write flow state. So as you get more into a flow state, again, your openness to knowingness expands. And then as your opening to knowingness expands, and you talked about AI, and it's taking like the thinking, like it's taking it to another level where the humans may not have to think, okay? But does it allow a space and a chance for the human there to step into their knowingness? Because let's say other jobs, what we've had to think a lot for a lot, and it strained us, like, oh, I've got to do this, got AI, boom, doing it like that. Okay, so now what are you going to do with your time? What are you going to do with your time in your human form? What are you going to do with it? But you know what? I'm going to play in a field what is not, it might be new to me, but it's a field where we come from, the knowingness that but it's new for this human part of me in a way. What's it going to look like what you're saying? And then you touched on conventionality. Is that the right word? I can't pronounce
I
it.
have no idea. I can't remember what I said.
So the things what have been put there, so you go to a lecture and then you've got a teacher at the front teaching you. So you're going to a lecture, or you're going to a meeting and there's someone at the front. I don't see a lot of sitting in a circle and sharing, so there's not one person at the front because you're all the same. And then with love and self first. So being selfish with yourself from a loving space, for me, again, people might not get what I'm saying because of their own lens of their words and what the words mean for them. But being selfish with yourself from a loving space, for me, it enabled me to open to a newness more. And then in opening to the newness more, I've been able to create something what Tammy wouldn't have ever thought she would have created, which is a limitation to liberation talk box, how we talk to ourselves in our mind. Now, if I didn't feel into my knowingness and then allow myself to open more, that wouldn't have got created. And a book, Tammy, doing a book, that what? No. So if I didn't feel into that, that wouldn't have got created. And knowing that I'm going to be putting that out for people what are going to either, yes, I want to give that a go, or no, that's not for me now. And like yourself, stepping into your knowingness, your feelings, look at what has just popped off, what's always been there, but you want to deliver this to not just one place, to the world, yeah? Because we as one, the work what we do within, that impacts the world, but our human brain may go, no, that can't. But vibrationally, what you're vibrating at as an impact. And having the time, if AI does this part for us, having the time to bring so much out for others, and let's say the younger generation what are at that point going forward, I'm very excited to see what's going to come from the work people are bringing forward, from the work you're bringing forward, because for me there's such a space of change, evolution, if you want to call it that. Like you've said, what you've put together and you're putting together and you're gonna put out there for others to be able to, let's say these group of children, they're not children, young adults, some older now, but as they're going into their newness, to do it from a place of, let's say, more knowing, more quote unquote balance, more self love, more self care. That is just going to create something beautiful. I think, anyway.
You're hitting the nail on the head in terms of my thoughts exactly. And this is why I said at the very beginning, it has to be like an audacious plan. Like the bigger, the more crazy, the more ecstatic it gets you, the more you feel aliveness in it, then I can follow it and I can move with it. So even the way I'm selecting the first country, the way I'm selecting the team is all through knowing and aliveness.
Hmm.
Set the vision. And again, that could change depending on where new aliveness comes, because that means there's more for it to grow. And the thing about moving in feelings, frequency first, and being able to understand different frequencies coming into you and how to use those as compass is you will never know the final destination.
And that's okay.
You can imagine it. Yeah, that's part of the design. You can imagine a final destination which brings you feel, even what we're articulated now in the story, that's our imagination of final destination. And then that starts, it's nearly like it pulls us towards it. But don't
Mm.
hold on to it, because the whole element, the pull, when that thing comes up, the pull towards it is meant to pull
Mhm.
you forward. And
Yeah.
then the next thing will pull you forward, and the next thing will pull you forward, and you continue to grow. So
Mm.
the plan shouldn't be to attain what you want, it's to grow from what you want.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting going on this journey, because for me, this is just a big experiment. It's like, is this even possible, what I'm talking about? What's going to happen
Yeah.
when I move in this way?
Yeah. It's
Am I
possible.
going to, in 6 months, 12 months time, be talking to you thinking, yeah, man, yeah, well, that frequency feelings first, I don't know what I was on. Or is something else going to be different? Or am I telling you, listen, remember I told you the idea was universities, then this happened and that happened, now I'm doing this and now this. Like, I'm just curious to see what's actually going to happen. Because for too long, I've been trying to follow the rule books, and I've done well at following the rule books. I'm proud of where I've got to, but it's
Mm.
left me so tired and so burnt out. And I just want to see, is there a way for me to move in life which doesn't leave me tired and burnt out? Is this the only way for me to continue to strive, to be successful, to feel like I am making the most out of my life, or is there another way? But also, is there another way where I don't feel like I'm compromising? Like, oh yeah, like I will stay in this job which I don't like so I can pay to go on holidays and have a nice house. It's like,
Mm.
can I move without compromise? And that's what I'm trying to just see,
Mm.
discover, and answer that question for myself. And again, this
Mm.
goes back to what I said in terms of there's what I'm trying to achieve, but there's also my goal of what I'm trying to do. And my goal is growth. My goal is this even possible? And
Mm.
either way, if it is or isn't, I'm gonna grow from it. I'm gonna see, because what I'm about to do is a challenge. Like, it's so
Mm.
bold, and like, who am I to go to a country and be like, hey guys, I want to ask questions about what it means to be human, and I'm going to do this in different countries across the world, partner up with universities, da 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 da. Da. But who am I not to do it? Why am I not
Exactly.
to do it?
Mm. Yeah. I
So that's
absolutely.
it. That's it.
I absolutely love that, because again, you can look at some of us. Again, I can't say this for everyone. We've never really been taught to go big in an unrestricted way. I don't know if that's kind of the right word. Um, like,
Yeah, no, I like that word.
yeah, we've never been taught to go big in an unrestricted way. Like, I've not worked for, let's say, I've not worked my way up in companies or anything like that, so I don't know. I can only again imagine that, okay, you've got this is what's set, you've got to work within this, and then you'll get to this, and then you'll get to this, and then you'll get to this. I don't know. Um but
And let
in
me
an
let me just give you an example to just
mm,
add to that, which you spoke about earlier, just quickly. Let me just add to it, then you can continue. Sorry to cut you. So earlier you said I was dancing in the shopping market, and I was feeling ecstatic. One of my kids were also dancing as well. But I can tell she wasn't feeling as movement. And then when other people came, she kind of climbed up a bit. I could kind of sense it. For me, that's a prime example of what we're talking about, but at a smaller level.
Mm,
Because the audacity, the bravery, but also it's not even audacity or bravery. It's also just freedom to
mm,
be fully
mm,
within however you're feeling in that moment.
mm-hmm.
To be like that in that small way also connects with how you can be like that in a bigger way, to dream
Mm,
bigger, to want to
mm,
achieve bigger in such an
mm.
unrestricted way. Because what you was doing in that shop, and correct me if I'm wrong, sounded like freedom, sounded like it was
Yeah.
unrestricted.
Yes.
Same thing, but from a different level.
Yeah. Yeah. I, I hope. I think the more, let's say, the younger generation see the older. I'm not old, but the older generation, the generation before them, start doing things in that way. They'll look and go, ah, okay, so we can kind of do it this way. Um, and to lose a rigidity around the way we do things as well. Because it's right, I'm going to give myself 6 months, I'm going to give myself this, I want this, and this, and this, that. So for me, I'll tell you for me. So a book I've been working on, it was over a year ago. I knew what I was going to do. But I was setting myself this, and this target, and I was never meeting it because I was trying to put rigidity around it. Like, I'm going to put courses together, so I'm going to do it. And then I was like, I'm rigid. It's got to be done by year. And then a part of me knew it weren't going to be done by said time. And then I could kick myself. Oh, Tammy, you didn't do this by set time because you never finish anything by set time. So it's just rigid. And to do things out of rigidity and just free flow in it and not put pressure on it, just explore it, go with it. I think if you're taking that energy into it, then you're going to get exploration is expansion, is it not? So you're going to get expansion from it. And I just wanted,
Exploration is expansion.
yeah, and I just wanted to touch on something you said earlier. So I wrote the word attachment down, because I can't remember what it was you were saying, but like when we work with people or how we are, like there's a kind of attachment. So on my journey, I probably about 2 or 3 years ago, again, I lose the concept of time. My brain just don't brain with time. I detached energetically from everyone in my life, everyone, because I knew I wasn't the same person I once was. And I didn't want to bring that through to this newness what I'm experiencing. And this is just for me. Not everyone will get it, not everyone will want to do it, but this is just for me. So I'm just putting this in for fun. So I detached like from the everyone in my life and how the relationships were, because I was stepping into a newness. Because I didn't want to bring that through into this newness I was creating. But for me, and my perspective, my relationships have got better. And the one what stands out for me the most is a relationship with my youngest daughter. Because before we moved up, it was very fractured, so fractured. We couldn't hardly speak to each other. I loved her, she loved me, I was her mum, but there wasn't, it was just so fractured. And now she's like, oh, mum, can I ask a few questions? Can you channel for me? And or I'm like, oh, Chase, what do you think? Like, literally, the relationship is just done like a 360, is it? I don't know. It's just completely
360.
changed. Detachment from who we've been taught to be and who we should be and what we should follow to get us to A, B, and C. And in the detachment is expansion. And then you just go in with this openness, knowingness, and okayness. Everything is okay. I just think creates just newness all the time. I don't know what my point was for that, but I just felt like I had to say that.
I think it was a beautiful point, and it got me thinking about another perspective, not from attachment, but from relationships and a lens to relationship, to sometimes look at it from, to help you heal yourself and be there for the person in a beautiful way, which can be both revealing and grounding, and then allows you to move when you need to move, but also it's a bit of a dance which you need to hold. So what I mean is, let's just say me and you right now, right? This might not be the best example just because of how we are in terms of our ways of thinking. But I'll use us as an example, then I'll see if I can bring up another example. If you was a version of myself, what are you here to tell me, and what am I here to learn from you? What am I How best do I should I treat you given you are me? If I want to treat myself with love, respect, but also challenging from a loving space,
Mm.
I would say you're the part of me who's opened up their being to what is, who has transcended and now is trying to make sense of how to be on earth, given that they now have wider knowing, which then over the years of you establishing what it means to be on the earth whilst being open, you can now really let the childlikeness of yourself reign free, because you see things a lot clearer, and that allows you to be in a place of love, ecstasy. And it's not that you avoid anxiety or avoid feeling bad. It's more, when you do feel bad or things are happening, you feel it and it feels hard, but you also see what it is, and you're less attached to it and less attached for it to hold on to you. But then you're less attached for many things to kind of hold on to you. You kind of just flow more of it, but feel everything as it goes. And it doesn't mean you don't have intense moments, but it does mean that you can be in the middle of oneness, which feels and is communicated to us. My hypothesis is through that feeling of ecstasy, even if that's the right word, because it might be a different word which is better to use, which then starts to connect and bring alignment to three things: your body on the earth, your mind, and your spirit, your soul. And your representation, and somebody who's, if you was me, come to tell me, hey, listen, I'm doing it and I'm in the middle of it as well, but you're not alone. So we're in it. So you're like the part of me who's going through that journey, who also needs to meet somebody else who's going through that journey, who's open-minded, to be the companion, and also to be the challenger, to be the mirror, but at a higher level, than the levels which I have with other people, in a slightly different way, and through the conversations that we have, which unlock different parts of me, which I wouldn't unlock with others necessarily. And is not to attach what we experience to just us or to you, because again, that will be trying to attach myself to the desire or the need and for you to be around, but it's to experience each other and to mirror each other, as we go on the journey of trying to experience life.
Yeah, do you know what? Your ways with words, just, I love your ways with words. Like, I'm trying to find a word. Again, your ways with. Oh, Tammy, why'd you choose this? Where you're like, words, no, words and Tammy are just not going to go. But your way with words and putting that, and when you were speaking, so I've got to tell you, I went into the space, see, we spoke about earlier, of such neutrality, but my human body was pulsating of a oh yeah, this what he's saying. But then there was another part of me just observing from a neutrality, and it's really hard for me to articulate and put in words. But if I'm being fully human, your way with words and your deliverance with what you deliver, as you bring out what you're going to bring out for the world, I can just, it's going to be freaking amazing. Like, because when you speak, you feel, and when you feel, you speak, for me. And I think that's beautiful. And you've got such a way of articulation as well. And for someone what is not as articulated with a word, I can stand there, and if I could pass you a feeling, I'd be like, feel this. But for someone what isn't as articulated with words as what you are, it's really nice to listen. And so when my human was listening, it was just beautiful and expansive, and I got it and I knew it and I felt it. But when this other part of me
Mm.
was listening, I have no words to explain the feeling. The closest I could get it was that neutrality, if you could call it a void. Some people might call it a void, some people might call it neutrality. That was pulsating in this knowingness, and that's the closest word I can get. So as you deliver what you're going to deliver to people, and to a lot of youngsters, I can see, like, I'm seeing clusters, so see like clusters of like 4 or 5 in a bigger cluster, what are going to get it so differently. And it's not saying the others are not going to get it, but they're going to get it from a space they don't even know. I'm really not articulating this right, or I'm articulating it as right as I can, but
I have to confess, I'm so confused right now, not because of what you're saying. For whatever reason, I'm starting to tear up. I don't know what's going on. Literally, as you were speaking, and as you said, actually, I think I know the exact moment I started to tear up. It was like I started to visualize um this void, this knowing and seeing it, well, feeling it was like consciousness or this void, knowing neutrality, looking at the human, but always like just watching and observing, 'cause learning and taking in. And then when you was experiencing the words and when you told me about the vibration, it felt, I don't know, that visualization of the knowing vibrating for whatever reason made me burst into tears. Um, and I don't know why. And normally when I burst into tears, it's because I have it in the knowing. So it's nearly like
that's
you
why, you
describing,
know.
yeah,
You
because
know.
it was nearly like you describing what you was feeling about your inner knowing hit my inner knowing to say what she's saying is true. And it was like this feedback loop, which I spoke, you felt, you told me what you felt, and then I knew what you felt was real because I'm also now feeling it. But when I said it, I didn't feel, when I said it, I didn't feel teary. I was just saying it. It was out. I only got teary when you reflected it back to me. Um, and again, like I said, me and you are mirrors to a certain degree, and I feel like it just happened in this moment. I said something to you, you mirrored it back to me, and then both of us are in an interesting place right now.
So first I've got to let my inner child go, yeah, I fucking love it. Right? Literally, I'm like, yes, 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 yes. Oh, I love stuff like this. I'm going to swear again, shit like this, because shit like this gets, I don't know, I just love it. But when you spoke and you were saying, okay, if I'm looking at you as me, how you articulated what I do in my day-to-day life, like bringing it into the humanness and living like that. That was for me. I was like, my human was going, he's got it. That's it. Why can't I explain it like that? That was just my human, and I'm like, oh no, I don't need to explain it like that. He knows. He gets it. He
Yeah,
knows. I know
and
he knows. And then I love it because in life we are gonna, as we go into feeling and knowing, we're gonna be meeting more because of the openness. We're gonna be coming into contact with more and more of us what know. So I know, you know, and we know this knowingness, and we just know it. And then we're going to meet others on our journey who know this thing as well, but from a different lens. So we interact with their knowingness, but from our lens of being our human, and then we look at them from their knowingness. And I just find it so freaking amazing. Like,
well, everything you're describing is happening right now, right? So the question I answered for myself about you made you feel seen, and then if you're but by me answering that question for you in that moment, you knew who I was to you. Does that make
yeah,
sense?
yeah. And then
Because as
going,
soon as by the time I finish speaking, you in your head, I can imagine you're thinking to yourself, he is like the the thing that I've been feeling, but I didn't know how to put into words.
yeah, spot on. Absolutely spot on. And it's really weird. So if you picture my head broke up into sections, and so I have that, but then you brought in the other sections of like she has this knowing, and so you kind of put the sections together in my head because I have all these different sections in my head, and you just went boop 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 boop, and so my human was like, yeah, and then my other parts would knowing, and then into the void of this knowing is just like that there's nothing there, but there's everything there. And oh, okay, nothing there, but everything there. And as people bring their stuff out to the world, like yourself, like Tammy, in the nothingness, there is everything. And if you offer that through yourself, you're going to touch the lives of so many. And then they go and touch the lives of so many by the speck of, we'll say a speck of gold or silver, whatever you like, stardust. You share your from that void of nothingness, but where everything is and knowing. And then they take a part of that, and then they may share it with something what they bring as well. So you see how it weaves itself. And we, fractals of Tammy in an energetic field, are excited. Of course, we have no form to see this expansion as it is occurring in each individual human and the planet itself, and not just the planet, the universe itself. And to interact how you and Tammy are interacting, and how Tammy interacts with others and you interact with others, and you bring the ideas, and you've brought them with you. There's just points where you're like, we're going to
Hey,
bring that
hey,
one,
Tammy,
we're going to bring that one.
for some reason, for the last 2, 3 minutes, I've just been smiling and nodding, but I haven't been able to hear you properly. So because I just wanted you to flow. I'm not sure. I just want to check, is your mic on? I mean, I know it's on, but it keeps cutting in and out, and I'm not sure why I can't hear what you're
Yes,
saying.
so we will speak louder when this
No,
channeling
I can't. It
happens.
keeps. Oh, you told me before when you channel. Yes.
It
I was thinking why I can't
interferes
hear you.
sometimes.
Fine, okay, that's fine. Continue, because I didn't want to disturb, but I was thinking I can't hear what you're saying. But
So I've
continue
come
to
out of
channel,
it
and
now.
then
No, no,
I'll
no,
see
it's
the
fine.
recording later.
No, it's fine. I've come out of it now. Can you hear me
I
now?
still can't hear you.
You can't hear me now.
No.
Oh, right. I'm going to end it. I'd like to thank everyone what took the time to watch this episode of Does It Really Matter with myself and Silva. And I'll see you next time. Bye.